Coming up on the Tacoma podcast.
It was a calculated risk, for one. It wasn't like I didn't have a reason to do it. But that reason of doing that was I wanted to get away from the rat race.
Yeah.
This is one stream of doing that. So I'm gonna keep casting out those fishing lines and these different things that I feel like is gonna be successful. And if they all hook, that's pulling me away from my job.
Yeah.
So this is one way of doing that.
Tacoma, what's good? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Derek Shockman. On the Tacoma podcast, we have dope conversations with the people of the city of Destiny. We have episodes with small biz owners, athletes, creators, performers, politicians, and neighbors. If you're down with Tacoma, tune in and let's get inspired. Let's go. All right, Kelvin, let's get it popping with a would you rather.
All right.
Would you rather do a short-term rental property or a long-term rental property?
Short term all day.
Not surprised. The guy that has 2 AirBNB businesses. So, guys, we're here with my friend Kelvin Pfarr. Kelvin, tell the people a little bit about you.
All right. Known Derek about as long as I've known my house, which has been about 2 years because he helped me get it. Secondly, got a family, wife, like 4 or 5 kids, maybe 10. I can't count. And what else? Yeah, I'm a full-time worker for airline in this industry right now during the pandemic, and I made a move.
Cool.
Let's talk about it.
So that move was Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Right. So what made you think of all years, 2020, COVID-19, pandemic, shutdowns, people not traveling as much? What made you think, you know what, this is probably the year to start an Airbnb business?
Because overall, I just felt like in this there was an opportunity, and I felt it, regardless of what was going on. When we decided to do this, it's already well past the pandemic by then, but we didn't know what the future was going to look like. But I did see that the hotels they were bound, so they couldn't do much. But Airbnb was making money, and I'm like, I've always wanted to get into the real estate game, so. For me, my current situation, I had a house up in the north end part of Tacoma near Ruston, and like that fit the perfect ideal Airbnb for what I would want. Plus, it's going to undercut the hotels anyway, so why wouldn't people do it in a beautiful part where they can see they're closer to the ocean?
Totally.
Even hotels are charging like $500 a night. We're charging you $90 to $120 a night for more rooms plus the experience. So, that was kind of my driving force for it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, your location is perfect. Like you said, Ruston Way, waterfront, really close by. I mean, the Unicorn's right there for everybody that likes to get down when it's open. I mean, that's a fucking fun place to go have some drinks.
Oh yeah, I had a couple already.
And they're strong.
They are. It's low. You will never know. I passed it, and I like you had told me about it. I'm like, I don't know, and I checked it out. Like random night, like a Wednesday, and they were jumping.
Yeah, no.
I like, dang, okay. It depends on what you're into.
Yeah.
They were playing hip hop, so I'm into hip hop.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, man, every time I've been there, I've had a good ass time, and I'm ready to go back once it's back open. But so okay, you Ruston Way, you got an awesome property. You're going to turn into an Airbnb. So, but you got to move out of there. So you got to get a new place. So what was your thought process when we were looking at houses? Were you thinking like, yeah, I want a second unit, or were you looking for like, what were you looking for?
Well, I had to, because I'm in a unique situation. I want to make this move, but I got a family. So it's all about selling this dream to my wife first.
Yeah.
So, of course, the house that we're looking at, it would have to have a separate entrance, and most of those houses were like pretty nice. So
yeah,
it wasn't a hard sell for me. It was just laying out the blueprint and kind of formulating that plan along the way. So something that's going to fit the budget, but you got to understand, I was looking at it like my exit strategy for this current property I'm in, I could do the property management. And that's what I did initially.
You mean to go long term?
Yeah, go long term.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to do initially. And that just wasn't working out because they were taking too long. And then I was paying double mortgages for like a couple months. I'm like,
yeah,
I could be making money off of this. So what I did was I calculated what the minimum expense for me would be for this house every month.
Yeah.
Which was the mortgage, internet, and the utilities. If I were to Airbnb this thing, so I just timed this times 6. I said, hey, if I can afford this for 6 months, if nothing happens, then I'll do it. I had my money in order, so I fuck it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the risk.
Calculated risk, not low risk. Calculated.
Yeah. And so that's why I did that. And the next house we jumped into, it would have to be with a private entrance to where we're kind of out of sight, but we're there if you need us to be. So, with their help on that one, man, like we found what we needed, and it worked out really great.
Yeah, great spot. I mean, Central Tacoma, Hilltop area, near 6th Ave. I mean, it's going to be dope. I mean, I think that what's interesting about the pandemic too, to me, is obviously that really hasn't impacted the Airbnb market here in Tacoma, Washington, where, we'll get into that part later. But it's just the fact that like the vacancies are like slim already. We don't have concerts going on at the T-Dome. We don't have UPS rolling with like, families coming in. We don't have a lot of things going on. And so like the fact that it's like popping right now is a good sign. So with that said, who has been your client right now? Like who is booking your stays at your 2 different properties?
Well, to be honest, man, in the beginning, it was people moving out of houses, selling their houses.
Okay, so they need a place to stay for a little bit.
Yeah, so we got about 2 or 3 of those. And after that, initially, we thought about what kind of clientele we wanted. And I it really didn't matter, but initially it did. I was like, it would be great if we had like traveling nurses, because we're looking for to give an experience. Somebody's going to be here for a while, and kind of it'd be easier for us to see the same person every day, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking more into the long-term part of it.
Yeah.
30 days more. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we had those at first, but now we've been having what we wanted. We got these traveling nurses coming in.
Yeah.
And they've been we're right by the hospital for this new place that we got. So location was part of it too.
Totally.
And we're next to 6th Ave. So it's like you're getting this local culture shock. Plus you're getting amenities that you need. Like we're literally like a block away from like a Walgreens and
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a little famous little fried chicken southern food place over there that I barely go to.
Yeah. Because you don't eat out.
Yeah, but I have the option. That's
totally.
What I like.
But everybody staying in Airbnb is going to probably be eating out, even though the basement apartment does have a nice little kitchenette area.
Yeah, the basement apartment. It's like he says, the basement apartment. You would never know. It's like Batman and Robin type shit. Like you where does somebody run away and they had to run to a little secret lair? That's what we got. Yeah,
that's dope too. And I know that we were talking before the show about how you're doing a mural of Tacoma to give it like more of a Tacoma vibe even. And that's dope. When that's done, we got to remember who did it. We get their name. And then also we'll get a picture and stuff and show people, because I think that's dope, man, especially with the local artists and stuff.
Definitely.
So how's everything going? So talk about a little bit about your the North End property near Ruston. So traveling nurses mainly staying there too?
Right now, no. It's been just regular. Right now it's been a mix of both.
Okay. Do you see the 2 properties having different types of, do you think, you mentioned traveling nurses, but do you think it's going to be like one property is going to be more traveling nurses and one's going to be more like 2-3 night stays, or because the property you live on, you have the flexibility to rent it when you want to rent it, right?
Yeah. I think it's a mixture of everything, bro, to be honest with you, because right now that's how people are living.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of renting, they're doing Airbnb.
Totally.
They're paying like a couple 20, 30. They're looking to navigate the system. So for them, they get a brand new experience every time.
Cool.
And they move to these different parts of Tacoma. That's just, I don't want to call them a scavenger, but whatever that's called. And then you have these professionals.
Yeah.
You have people that don't want to travel anymore in the air. That's more local now, traveling farther just to check out Washington. So you got to think about that.
Totally. And what's crazy too is when the travel industry gets ramped up again too, is I think people, who knows how people are going to react. Everybody's different, and it's cool whatever way you feel on the spectrum. But I feel like some people I mean, I like an Airbnb anyways because you get
Yeah.
more. It's cool. You get a house sometimes, or a apartment or whatever. And you're not having to deal with like a lot of people. And I think that's where like people are going to be like, oh, you know what? I'd rather do an Airbnb over a hotel. And I think that you'll see that for a couple more years too. It's just crazy though. In Tacoma, we have so many traveling nurses because everybody that I know that has Airbnbs, like it's always like they'll get a traveling nurse like that if they want it. That's 3 months. Like a lot of times, like a lot of the terms are 3 months, right? So that's dope, man. That's dope. So as you've gotten ramped up and going on these 2 Airbnbs, like what's like something crazy that's happened?
All right. So like I'm not scared of things that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like, man, our very first person we got in our North End house, he gave us like, it wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. Like he broke pipes and poured cement down.
Oh shit!
Nothing like that. But like I went through the whole Airbnb website and posted the rules and everything like that, thinking people were gonna read it. I don't know if he did read it or not, but before they book, it tells you to go check out the rules, right? So,
yeah.
He booked for himself. Everything. We didn't hear anything he's there for like almost a month.
Yeah.
And then my wife's sitting outside checkout time because she's getting ready to do cleaning. And then, and on top of that, she's part of Airbnb protocol, so don't worry. This guy was still in there, and she texted him like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh, he's one of those guys that are moving between houses." So I'm like, okay, I said, yeah, give him some time. I wasn't trying to be like a stickler.
Yeah.
And she's
first
like,
guess, right?
Yeah, first guess. And not a big deal. He's like, how much time you need? Like maybe like another hour and a half or 30 minutes, something like that. I'm like,
yeah, that's sort of asking a little bit.
And I'm like, first one, I'm like, all right, this is the only one that's gonna get by like this. So like, let's go by Ruston Way and go chill out, walk the dog, whatever.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh yeah, she likes to do hikes and stuff. So for her, she's like,
Sydney loves Ruston. Yeah.
So come back, guy's still not ready. And on top of that, he's walking outside with some girl and the dog walking out, and I'm like,
you have a no pet policy?
I haven't. No, I said I have. At the time, I had no pet policy.
Okay,
but it was you have to let me know.
Yeah.
It's in the rules.
Yeah.
So I'm like, not a big deal. The dog park could have came by with the girl, whatever. Like I said, not being a stickler, but my wife walks up like, hey, what's up? He's like, oh, hey, and it talks to him and tells her like, he's like, I saw you have you have another guest. He's like, oh yeah, I had another guest. He's like, sorry, and they're talking about they carve pumpkins with these kids and
oh my gosh,
stayed a couple nights, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, but like, I have this system for a reason. You go through and tell me what's going on with my house that you're staying in, because it's not just a hotel. You're staying at this place that is personal to me, and I probably want to make moves with it later on, right?
Yeah, for sure. So how did you get started though with this? Like after you found the properties, right? Like what do you do? What did you do to like get ready? Like you've never done this before. So like, what did you do?
As far as the Airbnb part?
Yeah. Like how did you learn how to like even do this? Like where do you even start?
Well, go to the Airbnb website. They'll tell you how to become a host. That's the easy part. You can make a profile as a traveler or as a host, and they have so many articles. That's what they're known for. That's basically their customer support system. You'll ask them something, and they'll send you to an article. So get used to that. So they'll tell you everything about how they run. And it's not hard. Learn it, get into it, learn how the system works, and that's it.
Okay, that's easy. So like when you're getting your listing ready, right? Like you guys got good looking photos. Is that important, you think?
It is important. Yeah, you can take it for your fancy iPhone 13. That's not even out yet.
No, 12
or
bucks.
Your Samsung S Galaxy Plus, whatever. But that's not gonna cut it. You need actual like professional photography because they know how to adjust the lightings. You can do it with that stuff, and you probably can win like that. But like Airbnb has a service. You have the ability to look up people, so why not do it? This is a business, right? So
for sure, definitely, yeah. Because like even like your basement apartment, like the windows are big in the rooms and stuff, but it's a basement. But like man, like those professional photos, it's just like bam,
Yeah, and that's pops. The thing. the professionals know why they're professionals for a reason. You are like, oh, I'm gonna take a picture of this at your angle.
Yeah, for sure.
But these professionals, they know how to like make your space look bigger if it's smaller to make it look more appealing. Yeah, so
definitely.
I mean, you don't want to short sell people that much. Like you like, dang, like, that's nothing like what you said. But like, get it close and make it look good.
Definitely. Do you think that when you mentioned rules earlier, right? Like how your first show or not showing, sorry, that's real estate talking. Your first guest kind of bent the rules, right? So when you're looking at like your listing, like what made you decide on certain rules and not some other ones? Like for example, like the pet policy.
Well, it was exactly that. So like I like, man, I did something wrong. It'll deter some people. They probably go crazy. You probably go crazy on the guests. But like, I think you're gonna have many more guests. Are you gonna go through this trouble and making it? I'm like, so for us, we took an L on that one. Not really. He did pay us the fees that we asked for.
Yeah.
But still, we had to. It's a learning lesson because you don't know.
Yeah.
It can make you feel worse because you like, see exactly what I'm talking about. That's why I didn't want to do this in the first place. You know, that's your doubts talking to you. But look, you just got somebody on your property that paid you some money for it. So that's why you're doing it. So going back to that, we looked at the competition. I looked at who had the most stars in the area, and I looked at what rules they had set.
Okay.
And I was like, oh,
that's smart, bro.
I mean, so I looked at what they had going on, and I looked at some other few, and I compiled a list of their rules that I like.
Yep.
And I just drug over to what I wanted.
Okay.
That fit my style. I'm like, that's how you use your community.
Totally.
I was kind of pimping them, but you know, they've been in the game for a while. They had they're like super
totally.
hosts. They doing crazy stuff going on. So yeah.
Yeah, learn from people who know what they're doing. Did you do that same thing with pricing and like figuring out what to price something at?
Yeah. Not in the beginning. I lost money in the beginning because I listened to Airbnb, man. Like, think about what they're doing. They're using your house and they'll have no capital in the game, but there's a technology platform. You're doing the headaches. You're talking to people.
True.
So all they want you to do is book somebody so they can get part of that commission. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they charge fees, but that's the same thing. But they're the popular platform, so that's you giving your dues. But be smart about it. All right, they have this thing called the pricing tool.
Yeah.
And they're gonna recommend that shit hard, but you gotta think about what are you trying to gain from this? Like, if you started it and you're trying to make a profit, like, what are you okay with losing with? You know, yeah, you still new, but you know, you have to give a discount. But like, how low? What's your number?
Yeah.
Look at your number, figure that out, and do that. I didn't do that in the beginning. I was like, I'm gonna get the shit listed, boom, whatever, we take a hit. Yeah. So I did it, and we made some money. It wasn't enough like to pay the mortgage for the month. I'm like, okay, well, that gave me the belief to say, all right, this thing works. Now I got to dial it in.
Totally. Yeah, for sure. Actually, that's a good segue. Actually, is you knew your mortgage payment, but then you have like you're starting to run a business. So what are some of the expenses, I guess, in starting up, and some things that you have to think about? So you got to have your expense number so you know when you're going to start making a profit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I looked at like my expense every month living in a property because the North End one you're talking about, I already knew because I'm living in it. I knew the condition of the house. It's not like I'm buying a new piece of real estate that I didn't know about. I knew my property.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I've already done I've renovated the garage. I got this going. We did a lot of renovations. So to me, you're getting a brand new property. So I have to worry about stuffing away too much money to do repairs. So basically at the end of the day, I looked at my mortgage.
Yep. I
looked at the utilities on average. And I also looked at amenities like internet.
Okay.
So
yeah.
At a minimum of those three things, I multiplied that times how many months that I felt like I was willing to take this risk. So
yeah.
I did 6 months. So, and that was my number. Like, okay, this is my overall number.
Yeah.
Okay, at a base to keep this thing operating. On top of what's going to cost to furnish this place and what I'm willing to put on top of that.
Yeah.
So, I like furnishing costs. And I gave a number to my wife, and she ran with it, and she made it work.
Yeah.
So it is actually a business. It's like, hey, how much does it take to do this thing if I gave it to you?
Yeah.
And that's what I asked her.
Totally.
Because we had already done it in this other house we're in now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
We already had to practice.
For sure.
I'm like, okay, so now going through that. Now, how much would you think would it take, efficiency-wise, to get the furniture, the beddings, everything. I'm talking about everything. If I give you, she's like, I don't know, give me a flat number. So that's my way of down with it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
all right.
Totally.
I ain't gonna lie. I told her, like, all right, how about 5,000?
Yeah.
She like, I'll do 3. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. But that's good to know, man. Like, because you're gonna have those are the expenses. Some are gonna be ongoing monthly expenses like utilities, mortgage payments. Then some are gonna be those fixed costs, and then probably some maintenance costs at some point too. But that's really, I mean, that's good info. So we started the show with the would you rather question. You said you would prefer short-term rental. Why?
Okay. I would say right now short-term rental because that's what you're trying to do with it. Like for me, you can do whatever you want to do with it. I can make that short-term rental a long-term rental.
Yeah, totally.
But why not take the opportunity to take a break in a long-term rental and try the short-term rental and see how it works out for you?
True. Yeah.
So you're already paying for it already.
Yeah.
So why not take an opportunity cost, time, and the money to do it? Like, yeah, you can pay a property manager to do it as an exit strategy.
Yeah.
Right? And have it long-term. All right, that's a peace of mind. But the Airbnb is about to blow up.
True.
They just went IPO.
Yeah.
They're gonna throw money back into the platform. They're gonna be doing. They're gonna be right behind Elon Musk.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if that's speculative, but anyways.
Yeah. No. I mean, I just obviously there's going to be pros and cons for each one. Short term versus long term. But I think that the short term, from what I've seen, is probably more lucrative. Yeah. For example, I know our Proctor house that we're sitting in. I know that we rented it for nearly $2,000 a month for a long term tenant.
Yeah.
And an Airbnb, I know with our location would be at least probably $3,000. So there's definitely a difference there. So that's an interesting point too. Is you've done it. I mean, you've bought a house with a basement apartment to, Airbnb out. There's a lot of people that are starting to what they call buy these multi-generational homes, which means like you could have a family member stay there, or you could do what you're doing, renting it out full-time, short-term, whatever, to help offset what costs. Do you think that just you being a consumer, do you think that that's going to be something that people are going to start looking into in the future to help?
Yeah. I mean, it's giving people options because some people can't afford to buy a new house or whatever. Some people don't want to buy a house because they think it's a risk. So it depends on the individual. Now, I can see them saying like you say, a multi-generational house where, with people don't know what I mean, is it's a house where you have multi-gens in it, like grandmother, yourself, your family, brothers, sisters, but they're all chipping in on the expenses. I think it's a smart idea because it's like a shared economy. You have this one mortgage payment that's being split how many ways you want.
Yeah.
And it's more affordable because you take one person and go out, you're talking about by yourself, you're going to spend $3,000 a month easy. You're talking about plus the rent, plus utilities, food, blah, blah, blah. And your Starbucks.
Yeah.
And what's the other shit that's popular now? The toast with the avocado.
Avocado toast. Shit.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I like it, but I ain't gonna pay.
I'll try it out. Like, it's not my thing.
Yeah, I know. I got
But I'm gonna done
it. For sure. So, with that said, obviously, what we're seeing in Tacoma is an increase in basement conversions to apartments. We're seeing ADUs being built. So with these people doing it, buying these homes, maybe they do have family members, maybe they don't. But if they want to get into the Airbnb business or a short-term rental business, we should say, what was your why? And why do you think people would want to do it?
Well, my why was it was a peace of mind knowing that. Well, not a peace of mind. It was a calculated risk, for one. It wasn't like I didn't have a reason to do it. But that reason of doing that was I wanted to get away from the rat race.
Yeah.
This is one stream of doing that. So I'm gonna keep casting out those fishing lines and these different things I feel like is gonna be successful. And if they all hook, that's pulling me away from my job.
Yeah.
So this is one way of doing that. I'm not saying it's the one all at the end all. It could be.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? And on top of that, it's giving me a step into the real estate because now it took me on my other house and we're into another property. And now it got me in the mindset of looking at another property.
Mm-hmm.
So it's creating opportunities. It ain't just making these. I mean, everything's a risk.
Yeah.
but the risk is not making a move to make that risk, right?
For sure.
Opportunity cost.
And I definitely wasn't trying to make this a real estate pod or episode, I should say. But why do you like real estate, man?
Because it's tangible. I can touch it.
Okay.
The numbers make sense. It's repeatable. I mean, it's easy math. It's just the people that make it complicated.
Yeah, I got you. There's a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
That's
but I like it because I don't know it. And what I mean by I don't know it, I'm just now learning. I learned so much more in the past couple of years than I did ever.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what real estate was.
Let me ask you this. We live in Tacoma. We've made, I've had a lot of appreciation over the last few years, ever since you bought shit. It's been going up. What do you look for when you are looking at real estate? Are you looking for like the cash flow? Do you like cash flow appreciation more? I mean, that's another would you rather. But
why not go for both? I mean, that's the
yes, obviously.
People want, but like if you had to pick one or the other, I mean, cash flow is like that much breaking even every month.
No, yeah, cash flow is like on top of, all your expenses. So basically like, hypothetical situation, 1,500, your mortgage, your utilities are X, this, and this, you're saving for repairs. You need to make 2,000 a month. I'm just throwing a number out. Your rent's 2,400. Yeah. So you make 400 a month cash flow. Okay. Sorry, that was like a really quick version of that. But.
Gotcha. That makes sense. It depends, man. Like that's definitely a situational question. Like, for Airbnb, I'm looking for the cash flow.
Yeah, because you're going to get the appreciation to me is the added benefit.
But it's a double-edged sword because what if the Airbnb doesn't work out?
Facts.
Can I get cash flow off the long-term side of it too?
Yeah.
So I have to make it, all right, if this doesn't happen, then can I do this?
Yeah.
That's my exit on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, there's so many ways you can flip the game. You have to create an opportunity within what you got. So like, let's say for my instance, I have the house I'm in now. I'm living upstairs and then somebody's downstairs in the Airbnb. I have the option of moving out and making that into something that can, if it can pay itself and I don't have to worry about it,
yeah,
then I'm good with that. But if I move out and it's still negative, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
But how do I turn that negative to positive? I can say, okay, how instead of doing the whole top floor, maybe I can split it per room. And
True.
then I can say, okay, there's where that's how I can get out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's a good. That's interesting. You said that because we were talking about how you have two properties,
mm-hmm.
but people can rent out rooms. What else can they do with Airbnb? You're talking about something about experiences or something like that.
Oh man, yeah. So I know, but Airbnb, man, they are trying to get into every space. They have, they're known for the bed and breakfast model, but on top of that, they have experiences now. So, Tacoma for one, if I wanted to come here, I need a tour guide. Airbnb is saying, hey, if you can provide the means to give these people experience that they need,
That's
then
dope.
You can make money off of that. No matter what that is you want them to do. Like I seen this one, they're having people come out and pet goats.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what? And they're making money off of that per head.
That's sick though. I mean, like, yeah, the tour guide would be a good one. And adventure hikes.
What else is there? Let's say right now you own a piece of property and you have a RV spot. You can take if you have an RV and an RV spot, you can rent that on Airbnb.
That's crazy. So like your house, North your North Ruston or your Ruston Way house. Gosh, I can't talk, guys. My house, like literally, I mean, we have plans. We know what we're trying to do, build a garage with a apartment above it. But like, we could literally, if we had a trailer, we could park that son of a bitch right there and put that on Airbnb, right?
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't take much. Like, you don't have to you don't even have to buy a property. You can rent out, people rent out apartments and then rent the apartments out on Airbnb. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's another game I don't know about. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can do that too. But like I'm saying, like the opportunities are there. You just if you have the willingness to do it, and like I said, it's all about the numbers. And it's all about how your money management is. Like that's another topic.
Yeah,
I'm big on like keeping my expense at one point so I know where I'm at and what profit am I making. I don't gotta have the new Jordans or the PS5.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
Yeah, no, 100%. Shit, me either, man. You know me. I'm playing this Jane, but no, but that's the thing. Like, you moved out. You turned one property you already had into one. You moved out and got another one because you had a basement apartment. But you know, I think the cool thing about Airbnb or just short-term rentals, especially in our area with the traveling nurses, is like we have a lot of older homes, and with these like basements, as we sit here and talk, I'm in one, right? We, you know, if you have a separate entrance, you can turn that into a space to just. I just where things are going with rents, where house prices. I mean, people are going to need to offset this stuff. Like, it's a great investment, obviously, but like at the end of the day, like if you can cut your mortgage in half every month.
I mean, I think they're bringing the community together, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, they're giving money back to you if you want to take that opportunity. That's the way I look at Airbnb. Like, hey, hotels are there, but hey, if you wanted to, you can have the thing in your backyard.
Totally.
Dope.
Yeah, it's just one of those things like they used to call it like I think the gig economy or whatever, but like just people get in like into these side hustles because that's what it is, really.
Yeah, and that's what this year is showing us. The bottom falls out. Like, what's going to catch you? What piece of string out there that you had laying around that you can grab? Like, oh shit.
Totally. I think like people. So like with side businesses, for example, or like, you know, an Airbnb business, or you could have a dump, any business basically that's a side hustle, man, that really can impact you. And like, this is the year, like, I feel like, man, people really realize like, you know what, having like a side business that makes me an extra 10K, 15K a year, that's not bad. Like, you might like kind of like 10K. Yeah, no, I think it's probably a good idea, especially because you just don't know what the hell's going to happen. People with the most secure jobs, we're like sweating it this year.
I agree.
So I don't know, man, but you got anything else to add? I mean, this was a legit ass show, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
Nah, you're good, man. You know me, I'm in the shadows. So
yeah,
glad you're lucky to have me.
I can't believe I got you on the podcast, man. And the first one at that. So
yeah, man, you know, we're always chatting and we're always making moves behind the scenes. So like, I appreciate you having me out. If y'all ever want to get into it, like I said, and you got more questions, throw them to Derek. I'll probably come out again if you're lucky. Yeah,
and I was going to say, like, I would tell them your social handles, but you don't really go on there.
Nah, so. I'm not really out there like that. But
they could hit me up and I'll hit you up.
My social handle right now is through Airbnb. That's my social.
What is it, by the way? What is? Do you want to share your listings?
How do you do it through audio?
Or do you have like, what are they called? Because can't you search like the names of them?
I could do a link. So if you ever,
I can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's doing show notes.
Okay, cool.
That'd be the easiest way to do it.
All right, man. Cool. All right, appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Peace.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you for joining and taking the time to listen to the Tacoma podcast. If you were down with this episode, I'd be super pumped if you subscribed. Also, if inclined, please drop a review and share the pod with a friend. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks again. Peace.